So our next guest, Nikki, thank you for your patience, is
No
Nikki
problem.
Anthony. And Nikki was a winner of our Black Authors Matter Children's Book Award in the social commentary justice category.
Yes.
And her book was called The Price We Paid, I believe. Isn't that the
Yes.
name of it? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have
Yes.
a copy? Oh, I see it behind you, but do you have a copy that you can put
Yep.
like right in front? And she has the sticker on it as the
Yay.
winner. Yeah, as the winner in the category. And your book got one of the people on our committee. It was between your book and another book. I won't say the other book, but we actually had members of the committee read the book so we could
Mhm.
make sure that we were judging it um, correctly and adequately because it is a children's book award and
Yes.
your book is more for teens and young adults.
Yes.
So with the other children's books, they're short and we could pretty much a lot of them, most of them, we could read either most of all of them or part of them, in the process of judging. But for the teen and young adult books, we had to have a member of the committee read it and then give an assessment. And it was very highly rated. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
and it's the first book by Joylyn Ross's publishing house
Yes. Yes.
and Path to Publishing. Well, it's a PTP Publishing or something like that.
PTP Press. Yeah.
Press.
PTP
Okay.
Press. Yeah.
Okay. And so, and you all did a lot as far as promotion and marketing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that the the actual book contents live up to the hype.
Yes.
Because
Thank you.
some books don't. Some books, there's a lot of hype. Then you go
Yeah.
and read them and you're like, what in the world?
Yeah.
uh,
Yes. I
it
agree.
happens more than you think.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us first what gave you the idea to write the book, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you. I have it here.
oh,
It's
okay, it's
I
showing your
keep it
award.
on my
Oh, okay,
mantle.
it's
Oh,
her award
Thank you.
for the category she was in, and that's something. It's always good to be able to say you're an award-winning
Yeah.
author. That's
Yeah.
something, that's something for your resume,
Yeah.
and it gets people's attention.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for the platform. I think it's very important to have Black stories told.
absolutely.
That's extremely important to have our stories highlighted. So, and even just to have a platform, to have our stories told and read. So, I thank you. So, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. But honestly, the book was written to frame um, an understanding for inclusivity, adversity, and also um, just to highlight the double-mindedness of how like both good and evil it does exist in communities and also in individuals, especially when we have bias presence and so many harmful stereotypes out there, when it comes to other cultures and other races. So the book was really, it wasn't just a book. It was more than like a novel. So we was like, okay, we want to really take like a novel approach and we want to create like a companion program to go along with it for schools and for students and educators and just for them to be able to say, okay, it's conversational, it's educational, it's empathetic, but where do my bias, lie? Like it's really a way for us all to like do the work and sit back and ask questions for ourselves like, okay, am I biased in some ways? You know what I mean? So that the book was structured that way on purpose for us to really be able to do the work. I'm a firm believer that books can be a form of activism, so
Absolutely.
that was a big part of like why I structured it and wrote it the way that I wrote it.
That is very true. Because
Yeah.
I'm working on a book for this year that
Really a way for us all to like do the
uh-oh,
work and sit
turn
back.
your device off. It's a
Yeah.
device on somewhere. Is that on your end, Nikki?
No,
No.
that was my computer. My computer went crazy. I'm good.
Oh, okay, okay. um, but yeah, there some of the books that really deal with culture, or one word people use is the zeitgeist, and that's
Hmm.
like the prevailing attitudes about certain things.
Yeah.
And usually it is related to culture.
Yeah.
Um, it's good to be able to write a book, and sometimes it's fiction and sometimes it's nonfiction, but it's
Yes.
good to do a fictionalized account because
Yeah.
a lot of times that's, it's more approachable for some people.
And that's
Hmm.
what I was going to say. It's more digestible. I mean, you can tell, and I think I said this a little earlier in the show,
Hmm.
when you can write about real life things, when you can tell your truths, but do it in a fictional way, people don't feel preached at. They can
Yeah.
actually digest the message a lot better because they can identify with the characters. They can put themselves into the situation.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. And even in that interim, to piggyback off of that, it also allows us to counter negative influences,
Yes.
like you said, without us feeling preached at, or, without us feeling like somebody badgering us or giving they, pushing their beliefs off on us. It helps us to counter negative influences as well, and like address some of those stereotypes. So I agree. I totally agree.
Hmm.
So is the book somewhat autobiographical or is it purely fiction?
You know what? I get that question a lot. I somebody just asked me this a couple days ago. I really do get this question a lot. Honestly, I would say maybe like 80% of it, I did pull from like my own life, or things that I've experienced, or things that someone close in proximity to me may have experienced. But it's definitely parts that are pulled from my life. Growing up, there was like this neighborhood place where my grandmother would like send us to get like cigarettes from the bootleg men, and they sold everything over there: cigarettes, wine, beer, whatever you can name it, they sold it, right? Socks, and it was called Buzzerville. Um, and I was like, when I was trying to find the name to the town, I didn't want to like name it, you know, something obvious, with like sundown. I knew I wanted it to have like sundown town, and things that were related to racism and things of that nature. And I was like, I knew I wanted to be in Alabama. So um what I did was, me and a team of people, we actually we caught a plane to Alabama, and then we drove through small parts of Alabama. And I was like, I gotta be able to see it. Where would I place this place at, if I want to, because at this time I hadn't even come up with like a name or anything. So I was like, I
Right.
gotta be able to see it. I gotta be able to feel it. Like, and when we drove, and I was like, this is it. When we landed in like the middle of nowhere, and I was like, Buzzerville. I want to name it Buzzerville. So it is a lot of things that from my childhood and my upbringing that I did add. So it's about 80% autobiography. But I mixed it with fiction too. So
Yeah, that's good to
As
change the
long as
names
you
of
mix it with fiction.
places,
yes,
so
yes,
people won't be offended. But
yes,
it's good to go to a location and get a feel for
it is.
just the vibe of what and to watch the the traffic and the people
Yes,
and look at the establishments and it's good to be able to do that.
yeah.
In my last novel, I had decided to pick a excerpt outside of Houston, so it was not. It was past the suburbs, And I just went online and then randomly Googled, okay, what's a area that's about 70, 60, 70 miles. And then so I found one. And then I said, you know what? I need to go there. If I'm gonna name my actual place, I need to go there
Right.
and
Yes.
see
Yeah.
what it is,
Yeah.
what it is, and what it's about. So
Yeah.
I can actually do and get some good descriptions for
Yeah.
streets and churches and things like that. And so that's what we spent a Saturday and drove out there, and me and my husband drove. So and then I recorded, did some voice
Yeah.
recordings of what I watched. And then so it's important to get a feel for a place
It is.
if the setting is really central to the story,
Yes.
especially.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. And honestly, in that process, I really learned like Google can only take you so far, right? So
Exactly.
you
True.
That
know
was a problem I had.
it can
Yeah,
only
Even
take.
you got to
Google Maps,
experience it.
even Google Maps, yeah,
Yep.
it'll take you to the street, but you need to actually go to
And get a
get a
sense of
feel.
it. Yeah, and
Hmm.
get a
You got
feel
to
of it.
experience it. Hear see the sights, hear the sounds,
Yes.
feel the vibe.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's how you can really make the description pop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and I think that if you really want to, if when you want a reader to have an immersive experience, like you say, you want to make sure that they can see, hear, feel, smell every single thing, and Google it just can't provide you that. Like it can't
It
give you
can give
that
you
realness.
facts. It can
Yeah,
give
it
you
can give
some
you
facts,
facts, but that's it.
but not the
Yeah,
feel.
but not the feel. Yep, yep, yep. I agree. I agree.
So what's been like the feedback? Because you were on the show when the book first came out,
Yes, yes,
and that's been like about a year ago,
yes.
maybe a little bit longer than that. So how's the last year been for you?
It's been really good. Since the show, the book is now a 5-time award winner. Black Authors Matter made it 5 times. So I
Great.
haven't had any negative feedback. What what? I take that back. In the beginning, we did have some negative feedback, but it was more so from individuals who do not come from the Black culture, so they didn't quite understand Black lingo or Black phrases or Black terms. And I even had one reader was like, I stopped halfway through because I just could not read this form of child abuse. And it's like, where
Mhm.
did you see child abuse? That
Yeah.
child didn't get
Sometimes you
beat.
have to wonder, like, what are they talking about? Did
Right.
they have me
Like,
mixed up with somebody else?
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Did they read the right book? Like, but then I really had to take a step back, and I was like, you know what? At that point, I think that was when we really realized, like, okay, now is a good time to like implement the bias training, because people will judge this based off of like their own bias or their own stereotypical beliefs or something. Just because you grew up away does not mean or does not discount how someone else grew up. And at first I would take it like really, really offensive, because I'm like, wait a minute, like why are they saying this is unrealistic when I know I experienced this? You know what I mean? So um in the beginning it was tough, because I was like, how you gonna tell me what I went through? Like, how you gonna tell me what I know happened? But then I had to really take a step back, and I was like, you know what? They don't come from that world. A lot of people don't come from that world. So that's when we was like, okay, you know what? It's extremely important for us to take like a novel approach with this and
Hmm.
make it more than just a book, and let's do a bias training. Let's rewrite, like allow workshopping where they rewrite their first chapter based on their own bias. Um, and that was it changed my perspective. So in the beginning, it was like, what are these people reading? Like, uh, um, but as time went on, and we kind of learned how to approach the situation with what it was. You got to call a spade a spade. Like that's just like a lot of the things that I addressed in there is it's a part of Black culture. You know what I mean? Like it's and it gives like crucial insights into the reality of racism and the bias behind it. So
Mm-hmm.
I stood 10 toes down on it because at the end of the day, it don't change the facts. Like although you didn't experience it, it just does not change the facts. So um in the beginning it was a little, rocky because I was like, what is y'all talking about? But as time went on, and then I started to get more accolades, and I started to get more. The awards started coming. I'm like, okay, now people who get it, they understand it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't please everybody with your work.
Nope,
It
you
would be
can't.
great if you could, but if
Yeah.
everybody's pleased, that means somebody's lying,
Yep.
or they didn't read it, or
Yep.
Right.
no book,
Or they didn't
no
read it
book,
closely.
yeah, no book is gonna be the same for everyone. Now, some
Yeah.
books
Yeah.
that I've tried to read, because if it's not making sense, or it's not well written, or it's not well edited, I will
Mm-hmm.
not finish it. I
Yeah.
can tell you that
Thanks.
I'm not going to keep going. Um, and then, I'll read some reviews, and I'm like, did they actually read the book? Because a lot of times a person will like a book, they'll say they like it, but I'm wondering, did they actually read the book
Mm.
all the way through? Because, um, a book may be good at the beginning and then it may fall off,
Yeah.
or it may be slow. It
Yeah.
might take, now if it's too slow, I won't even get there, but it has to, something has to happen in the first 50 pages. It doesn't have to be like excitement, but it has to be more than just descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I
Mm-hmm.
have to have more than that. And I did, I reviewed the last three books I read, and I don't review a lot of books, but the last three that I read over the holidays, I did post reviews on them, because it was two fives and a four, and the
Mm-hmm.
four could have been a five had they had a final round of copy edits, because
Mm.
take a point off if it's a mistake on every other page. No, I'm gonna
That
take
makes sense.
off
That makes sense. And that's
because,
fair.
Mhm.
That's fair.
but it
That's
was a good
fair.
write, and it was a new author I hadn't read before. So
Okay.
actually, they had been on the show, and I read her book as a result of her being on the show, and it was a good story. Just needed it was self-published. I could needed
Mm.
one more round,
Okay.
copy edits. So
And that's fair. I think that that's fair.
it's
Like
important.
it has to be universal, like across the board. I totally agree. I think that that's totally fair because although you self-publish or you independent or whatever the case may be, you always want to make sure that your books can stand up against any book out there that's in the big five.
Yes, because people
Mhm.
are going to compare your book to
Yes.
the standard.
Yes, they
Now,
gonna compare to
some
standards.
published books from big publishers have mistakes, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not on every other page.
Yes,
It might be,
yes.
five total in the book or something. And for a person, some people don't really care about that. They can read over those. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I can't. I've spent too many years editing,
Yeah.
and I'm really anal about that. And I don't, but my own work, I don't do the final edits on my own work.
Mm,
Every book needs to be edited by fresh eyes. And so,
yeah.
but good storytelling, good cover. The cover is important, and
Yes. Yes.
your
I
cover
agree.
is good too.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, this is all around. I'm very excited for you and Joylyn,
Thank
because she's breaking new ground. She's always breaking some new ground.
you. Yes.
Mhm. This is true. This is true.
This is what she does.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so she shows the way for the rest of us, sometimes things we hadn't thought about,
Yeah.
or just, doing things a different way.
Yeah.
And she's always been a, a person who's open, not,
Absolutely. No, no, absolutely.
not full of herself. Some
Yes.
people have a little bit of success and then they get full
Yeah.
of themselves.
Yeah.
But she's not that way.
No, and honestly, like when I went into it initially, I was like, okay, I knew that it was a voice that I wanted to get out, and I knew that I wanted to tell the story in a certain way. But it was honestly Joy Lynn and her team who was like, okay, we gonna go the extra mile, like we gonna be more inventive. Like this is more than just a book. So she's really, really good at like going the extra mile and innovation wise, like
Mhm.
and the bigger picture. And I think that's what has made this that's what made me believe in it more. Like I believe in it because I wrote it, but it like the movement behind it made me, believe in it much more. Like it gave me more confidence. So she's really, really good at that. Her team is super good at that. So I agree with that. I totally agree. She's the best. She really is.
And she's good people, very
Yes,
good people.
yes, she's the best. She is.
Now, do you live in Chicago? You live in Chicago?
Yes, I live in cold, windy city, Chicago. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
You
how
you
did you?
live in that cold that makes me not
Mhm.
complain about the cold I'm in.
Yeah, and it's even cold in Houston. We had to
Wow.
cover up our plants and stuff. Okay, we had 2 nights in a row where it was freezing, and that
What
is
was freezing?
Wow.
below 32.
Oh, okay, I'll give it to you then.
Now you
I
all
thought you
had
were going.
snow. I saw you all had snow in the
Yeah,
DMV.
I thought you were gonna be
Yeah.
like my coworker said. We had a freeze last night. It went down to 61. I was like, shut up.
No, this was actual. No, in fact, it's gonna be for the next. They had snow in Dallas. Now
Mhm.
Dallas is 4 hours straight north of us, so they get snow. We don't get snow.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
We don't.
Wow.
We don't get snow. If we get snow, it's some floor. If they say it's a chance that it might snow, they close the schools.
Wow. That's so crazy. That's crazy.
And it does, and normally it's just flurries, and as soon as it hits the ground, it melts and it's gone. It's no. Well, now we had what we called our deep freeze uh, in 2021, where it didn't get above. It stayed freezing. It froze at night. It went down to 20 something, and then it never got above freezing for 2 days
Mm.
at all. So
Wow.
that was for us. And then we had ice, like it sleeted and stuff iced over, and people, they can't drive and stuff.
Mm.
So, and we lost power because the ice was on the wires, and we were having blackouts, like power was off for 12 hours and then to be on for 12. That went on for 3 days.
Wow. That's
That
crazy.
was for us, it was very traumatic. It was
Wow.
very, because we're not used to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the summer, we're cooking. Also, starting in May is cook. We cook till the end of October. The end of October, it goes to like 80. It's 80 at the end
Okay.
of October. So,
Okay.
so every region has its weather patterns. I
Yeah.
couldn't live in with all that cold y'all have up there.
Yeah.
That's the serious hawk, as we used to call it up
You
there.
you you get used to it. Like I've been here all my life, so
Oh,
so
okay, okay,
it's coming. You know what
okay.
I mean? Like you
Yeah.
get used to it, and yeah, like we already know we got to brace for it. If we could just survive until like February, March, we'll be fine. Like, but
But
we
y'all
used
get
to it
snow
now.
in April sometimes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
I've seen that.
yeah, we get snow. We've gotten snow in April. Yes, we have. Yes.
Yeah. So,
I've seen
well,
that before.
Yes,
mm,
we definitely got it in April for sure. So
yeah. So now it's a setting for your book. You said it's Buzzardville. It's in the
yeah,
South. That's what it was.
Yes, yep, it's
Now,
in the
does
South.
any of it take place in Chicago? Like, did they go from Chicago to the Alabama town, or is the whole thing in the town in Alabama?
Well, now at the end of the book, the family does decide that they're going to move to Chicago. So,
Okay.
yeah, that they're going to navigate to Chicago. So, yeah, they it does touch base in Chicago a little bit at the end, very
Okay.
briefly.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they had a great migration. Now, is it contemporary? Is the book set? Is the setting now, or is it in the past?
No, it's actually in 1992. So the setting is set in 1992. Yeah. So no,
Okay, so it's
not
not like
current.
the 60s or
Oh
late
yeah, no,
50s.
yeah, no.
Okay.
It's 1992. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
it's still pretty much contemporary.
yeah.
I think it's not considered historical. Isn't it 50 years, Rhonda, when something is considered historical
I
fiction?
think that's what I think we
It's
discussed that
50.
on the show before. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's
50, 50
50.
years ago. You know
Mhm.
what? The 90s is historical fiction now.
Yes, almost. It's before the internet. It wasn't any internet.
No, it was not the age
So
of the internet. Not just yet.
and
No,
that's like
no.
ancient times.
Yes,
When I
yes.
tell my daughter we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones or any of that.
No,
Mm-mm.
Can't
no.
even imagine it. But we talked to each
We
other.
did. We did. And
That's
we went to the library. We
yeah, we
And
read
we
did.
books.
and
We
we
went
wrote
to
letters,
we
Yes,
wrote
we wrote
yes,
letters.
yes,
real letters with our
yes,
hands.
Real
yes,
letters.
yes, yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
communicated. So anyway, we're at the end of our time. But Nikki, congratulations
Thank
again for
you.
showing
Thank
your book cover one more time.
yes,
The
yes.
Price We Pay is young adult fiction. It's an award-winning book, five-time award-winning. And congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. You have
You
a great
enjoy the
night
rest of your night.
You
Congratulations
too.
once again.
Thank
and
God
you.
Happy New
bless you.
Year.
And a happy new
Likewise.
year.
Same to you,
All right.
ladies. You guys
Bye-bye.
have a good night. Bye bye.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.